This is Lee Hall with the Waverly Express Consulting Group. Want to take the time tonight to give you guys a project status update number 2. So let's begin. First, we're going to give an overview of what we're going to talk about here. We're going to reflect on the project charter, meeting minutes from our meeting on the 19th of February, look at the data diagram, talk about the to-be process diagram, some personal notes regarding the project itself, and then talk about the next steps that we're going to be working on as a team here. Next. Our project charter we discussed on Friday with the project sponsors. We reviewed it and came to the consensus that the project charter is accepted at this time. The problem statement is solid, as well as our narrative describing the CCBL databases and requirements that they're looking for. The as-is and to-be data structure diagrams have also been preliminarily discussed, and we'll be moving forward with designing those. And the analysis of the future CCBL database and its use. The final project again will be due and presented on the 28th of April. The meeting minutes from Friday on the 19th there, we discussed, we looked at the data tables and looked at the various fields that were put into it. Had some discussion and understanding of how we want to design those. The CCBL stakeholder meeting again reviewed some of the business processes in which they're following to assist us, the project team, in coming up with the proper results for the sponsors. And we also acknowledge that there is a sponsor change to Robert Granvin from Don Severson. So now I'd like to take a moment and take a look at the data diagram tables and the to-be process flows. And here we'll see that there's the various tables. There's the student table with the standard, with the primary key of the student ID, the primary, moving on to the employee table, which has a primary key with the employee ID, the partner primary key, as well as the course primary key. Those will be the starting points for each of those tables. Those will be what holds the placeholders of that information, and they are the pieces that are tied to that actual table. They will not change when the information gets entered into the databases. The other tables that we see here are the event, the program, participant, room, and internship. And our meeting with the stakeholders, we saw some areas where we needed to add and remove some fields in various tables. This current view is our current draft, of which we've sent on to Nadia, one of our project sponsors, for review, and are looking for feedback. When we receive that feedback, we'll continue on finalizing these tables. Next, we'll talk about the to-be process diagram. Again, this is our overview, our first shot at trying to show how the flow how it will flow when we start when the customers start adding in their data, inputting it into the database, so that when they get to doing these processes, they can flow through it. This again is just a draft, and we will be working to finalize it and revise it to where it's a working nature and works for the sponsors and the end users. So I wanted to take the second here to discuss our video frequency. We're going to shorten the frequencies of how many videos we create. Our next status video, we're going to move to the 24th of March. In conversation meeting I had with Nadia This afternoon, we decided that it would be more prudent to focus our time on the project and the different various tasks within the project to do this. So as we move forward in the future, our next video update will be on the 24th as opposed to each week. For each week, or the weekly product status updates, I will send out a PowerPoint with some narrative in it, kind of outlining exactly what our status is of the project, where we're at, where we've been, and any highlights regarding meetings and so forth that we'll be having. Next, the next steps that I want to talk about are we're going to be working over the next week on finalizing the 2B processes and the tables, as well as finalizing the as-is tables, so that they will coincide with what we're moving into the future with. Finalizing tables with the exact fields that the customer, our sponsors, would like us to discuss, as well as there'll be some changes as we're reviewing the current documentation. We're seeing areas where relationships are and actual fields do not need to be within the actual table themselves. Then we will start creating those relationships so that we can show our sponsors exactly how those relationships will work, as well as giving them an idea of why certain fields are actually not required when it comes to the actual tables when they're created for the database. We'll be meeting various times with Nadja. I may be calling her. She has offered herself for conference calls as well as informal phone calls in order to have any discussions or answer any questions, ask questions regarding the project status or where we're at as we continue to move forward, so that we are coming up with the proper end results. I'd like to thank you for taking this time and watch this video. This is Lee Hall for the Waverly Express Consulting Company. Thank you.